Dear fans of crypto influencers, the Bitcoin celebrity Bitcoin Rodney was arrested in Florida and transferred to Maryland. His arrest was due to the Hyperverse project scam, where he allegedly defrauded more than $7 million from the fake investment scheme. He also supported the false statement that the company would promise investors 0.5 to 1% as a daily passive return, which is of course very high, but also very unrealistic, and turned out not to be true. The goal behind this lie was to get investors into doubling or even tripling their initial investment amount. But at the moment it's still unclear how much Bitcoin Rodney is involved in this project. What is clear is that he made a substantial amount of money. He made a total of $7.8 million for promoting this investment scam. For context, the scam originally started as Hyperfund. Hyperfund was a cryptocurrency hedge fund that promised to build a metaverse. And the metaverse was supposed to be called Hyperverse. But this is where the scam started. As with Hyperverse, people were tricked into buying their tokens. As with the Hyperverse token, you would have access to financial services, products, and also in passive rewards. However, this did not turn out well for investors, as the website was turned down and the company collapsed. In total, it led investors with a loss of $1.3 billion. While this came as a surprise to some people, there were already some red flags along the way, some red flags that people should have been aware of, but were unfortunately totally ignored. One of them is that they were originally listed on Financial Markets Authority, and even back in 2021, they were labeled as a potential scam. Also, their CEO, that was supposed to be Stephen Rees-Lewis, was a person that likely did not exist, and not even their privacy policy existed. However, this did not stop other celebrities, like Chuck Norris and Jim Norton, to promote this project. And while it is still unclear, of course, how much they made, it is likely in the millions, and it's likely higher than Bitcoin Rodney, as their celebrity status is a lot bigger than the one from the Bitcoin YouTuber. Well, however, there's still a question to be asked. What was Bitcoin Rodney's role in this project? Well, we can only speculate at this point. However, of course, he promoted this project. And when this project turned out to be a scam and the website was turned off and the company collapsed, he also disappeared from the public, which is not likely something an innocent person would do in this situation. At the moment, he's arrested and he's held in custody during the pending trial, which I think will not be very successful for him, as I think he will likely have to serve some time in prison and he probably has to pay a substantial fines, which will probably be in the millions. Also, he probably has to pay restitution for the victims. Well, of course he made millions with the project, but I think he has to pay a huge amount of fines back. But in total, I think his total time in prison, which in my opinion could be up to 5 years, but it could also be 10 years, depends on his cooperation with the government, as I think the government is interested in the main characters behind the scam. Well, of course, Bitcoin Rodney promoted it, and of course he's not innocent, but I don't think he's one of the main characters behind the scam. I think if he's willing to cooperate with the officials, he can get a lot better deal. Finally, in conclusion, I don't think Bitcoin Rodney is innocent. I think he probably has to serve some time in prison, and he probably has to pay fines in the millions. Well, of course he made a lot of money, but there were also some other celebrities, like Chuck Norris and Jim Norton, that promoted this project, which also made millions of dollars. However, there is still a note for investors to be made. As investors, be aware. Don't try to catch the next metaverse today. Always look at facts and not feelings. And don't ignore red flags that are mentioned, as usually the high daily passive rewards, which are this high, like 0.5% to 1% a day, is typically not a good sign, as it would mean if you would do it for 1 year, that you would more than triple your initial investment, which is unfortunately very unlikely. So investors, be aware. Always look out for red flags. With that being said, do you think Bitcoin Rodney will serve some time in prison, or do you think he will get out without serving any time? Let me know. I will see you in the next video.